We play music that people like, and you learn so much more by learning what you want, what you like, and what you enjoy listening to. You know, so we work on all popular music. We're not doing obscure pieces from 1642 or anything like that. We try and keep it nice and up to date, and just what people want to learn, really. And we find we have so much success with students that way. It's great.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
Really looking forward to catching up with my next guest. We spoke to Tom Dalby on Band Week. We had a great conversation, played some of his fantastic music, but also got talking about something else as well, which I'll let him introduce. But I will say good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Rich. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. As I mentioned, I love this because this was spawned out of Band Week. We got you on, played some fantastic music, but then had another conversation, which leads us into what we're talking about today, the Oxfordshire Music School.
It does, it certainly does, yeah. So I run a company called Oxfordshire Music School. We started just over 18 months ago in the back room of a pub in Abingdon, and it's grown sort of crazy from there. So we've expanded now, and we've got around 200 students on the books. We teach at the moment in Didcot, Abingdon, Wantage and Wallingford. So across the sort of south of Oxfordshire. I live in Didcot, so it made sense for us to sort of span out from there. We are looking at expanding further into North Oxfordshire and Oxford itself throughout the year. But we've got lessons starting in September. So we're starting a new term when the school goes back. We can't wait to meet everybody. We've got a few limited spaces. So if people want to get in touch, go to oxfordshiremusicschool.co.uk and you will find out all the information about lessons there.
Brilliant. Can I take you back to a lovely place, which is the back room of a pub? Yes. The best ideas happen in the back room of a pub. In fact, all ideas happen in the back room. Just go through what the thought process and why you wanted to do this, and kind of, you know, where you're at, and what you thought was going to happen with all this right at the start.
It started off, I've been teaching guitar since pre-lockdown, and through lockdown I actually got very busy teaching online Zoom lessons, a similar format to how we're conversating now. And then I got to a point where I was getting so many inquiries for guitar lessons, and customers don't tend to leave very often. When you've got guitar lessons, it's not like a one and done sort of thing. It tends to go on for quite a while. So I got to the point quite quickly where I just couldn't take any more people on. I was working about 65, 70 hours a week teaching. And it was insane. So me and my partner Emma come up with the idea of doing some small group lessons, and that way at least we could meet more people, and we could see more people, and more people could get hooked on the guitar, which is where Oxfordshire Music School started. Really was with guitar, because in the first days it was just myself teaching, and we were just teaching guitar. And now we've expanded, we do drums and other things. But in the early days it was just myself. We had a friend who was running the Old Anchor in Abingdon. And they've got a beautiful sort of period back room, and she let us sort of rent that out for a small fee, and we advertised, and it just sold out straight away. We were really shocked. So we started with 20 students in the back room of that, and the concept seemed to really work. The groups were getting along really well. It was a great way. We did some kids groups and some adults groups, and across the board, the adults enjoyed meeting each other and would socialise and go to the pub afterwards and things like that. And the kids were really coming on in confidence, and as well as their instrument skills, but they seemed to G each other up, and nobody wanted to be the one in the room that couldn't do the piece we were working on. So it helped push the whole group together. So it was really good. From there, it's just expanded. So,
well, I guess it's it's something that actually doesn't happen that much, dare I say, because as you mentioned, when you're sort of learning an instrument, it's very one-on-one, and I'm sure. That even at school, and this is going back to when I was at school, you kind of started in a big group, and you could kind of hide away a little bit in that big group and go, oh, I don't really like this. I was doing the violin and, you know, all those instruments that, God, no, I wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. And then you got into that sort of one-on-one thing, but then there was a lot of impetus on yourself to either want to do it or not. And if you didn't want to do it, it's kind of like forcing you to do it, isn't it? And if you're in that sort of group as an adult, it kind of, like you say, it spurs you on. It gives you that extra little oomph to go, oh, I don't want to be left behind in this. Oh, and actually I can learn a bit more with these other people.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And it's just a great way to meet people. It's a really informal setting. The problem I had with music lessons when I was at school and younger, they were a bit stuffy and it was a little bit boring, and it wasn't really the music I wanted to learn, and things like that. When I was I wanted to learn saxophone at school, and the music service, the council music service in the northeast, they didn't have any saxophones, so they give us all a clarinet, which, as I'm sure you know, isn't quite a saxophone.
Not quite as sexy, no.
It's definitely the same thing, but it was not quite a saxophone. It wasn't as cool. I just wanted that real sort of brass, shiny saxophone, and never got it. And at that point, I just dropped out and stopped doing music altogether. The thing that differentiates Oxfordshire Music School with that, we don't do any exams. We do live performances at the end of every term, so you get the opportunity to go into a proper music venue. We're using the Loose Cannon Brewery at the moment in Abingdon for our live performances. We had one a couple of weeks ago, and it was fantastic. And that's it as far as we go with tests. We play music that people like, and you learn so much more by learning what you want, what you like, and what you enjoy listening to. So we work on all popular music. We're not doing obscure pieces from 1642 or anything like that. We try and keep it nice and up to date, and just what people want to learn, really. And we find we have so much success with students that way. It's great.
Well, look, it sounds like it sounded like a fantastic thing when we first spoke about it, and it sounds like a brilliant and wonderful thing. I have to mention, being a teacher and being a teacher of music and doing lots of lessons. Do you have the patience of a saint when things are just starting out and you're not quite? You can hear that it's not quite right, and some of the songs you must kind of just be able to just park that kind of bad note, for example, that gets played and kind of teach and move on.
I think, yes, patience is a thing, and so many people get put off by making a bad mistake or a bad note. I've played professionally for 15 years on the circuit, doing venues and weddings and gigs and all sorts of stuff like that. I make mistakes all the time. If you come and see me play live, there will be many bum notes and many mistakes, and everybody makes them. We can always aim for perfection, but we never quite get there, But that's okay. That's what makes music human. That's what making playing guitar, drums, bass, any sort of human instrument human. Anybody can press a button on a computer and program it to be right and then delete all the mistakes afterwards. But we're talking about humans playing music, and that's what makes music so attractive to me, is that it has that human element. You listen to any of your favorite tracks, there will be a mistake of some sort that wasn't meant to be originally in there on that track.
Well, it's sometimes the best music comes from the greatest mistakes. That's what always happens. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. I'm so pleased that it's so busy and working out so well. Just give a quick update where we can find out a little bit more info if people kind of sparked interest and what have you.
Yeah, where can we find you? If you head onto the old Tinterweb and look at oxfordshiremusicschool.co.uk, you'll find everything about all our lessons there. We've also got Facebook and all the usual stuff. I'm just starting a YouTube channel today, actually. I've just filmed like 40 videos for our YouTube channel, so we're going to have loads of free videos and stuff coming out every day on YouTube. But yeah, the website is the main place, oxfordshiremusicschool.co.uk, so you find everything on there.
Fantastic, and you, as you've heard, Tom sounds like the perfect teacher. So if you're up for that, make sure you do wander over there and get involved. New courses starting in September. Brilliant stuff, Tom. A pleasure catching up with you, mate.
No, thank you very much, and you, Rich. Look after yourself.
Will do. Take care. That's Tom Dalby there at the Oxfordshire Music School. Make sure you sign up for it. It sounds absolutely fantastic.